Hello everyone. In our last video, we talked about why you need to get your business formalized or why you need to get your business incorporated, where we identified some importance like credibility, helping your business to become investment ready, access to loans, access to grants, and all of that. So in this video, by the end of this video, you are going to be understanding the different types of business registration we have available under the Corporate Affairs Commission, that is popularly known as CAC, their features, their advantages, and their differences between each other. And also at the end of this video, you should be able to know the type of registration that is actually right for you or right for your business. So let's get down to it. But before we proceed, let me use this opportunity to welcome you to the Stress-Free Money Zone, where we promote habits and tips that can enable one to live a financially stress-free life, including you as an entrepreneur. So if you have not subscribed to my channel, do well to subscribe to this channel, because there are lots more that you get to learn and enjoy from this channel. And let's get to it. We're going to be taking a quick overview on the different types of registration we have under CAC. Number one is the one we call business name. It can also be referred to as sole proprietorship or enterprise. It is quite simpler, easier, and cheaper to register on CAC, and it is mostly preferable for small businesses or informal traders, or rather professionals that are just starting out small. Number two is what we call the private limited liability company. It is a separate entity, that it is a separate legal entity that is different from its owners. The owners of this business or this company are referred to as shareholders. And in this kind of business registration, you can as well have what we call the directors and the shareholders, and they can be different from each other. It is most preferable for small to medium scale businesses, or businesses that are looking out to attract investors. Then number three is what we call the public limited liability company. It is almost the same as a private limited liability company, just that in public, the companies can actually sell shares to the public. They can actually sell shares to the public. Why for the private you can't sell to the public? And it is mostly suitable for large corporations. Then lastly, we have the number four, which is the incorporated trustees. Incorporated trustees, under this we have registration of NGOs, religious bodies like church, mosques, associations, clubs, and what have you. And also it is basically for non-for-profit organizations or businesses. That is, those are the people that are required to register as incorporated trustees. Okay, so having understood the different types of registration we have under the CAC, let's now look at the key differences and features between this registration. And we're going to be placing side by side between business name registration and company registration. Reason why I'm very particular about these two is because most entrepreneurs or most startups, they actually do not understand the differences between these two, especially even in terms of the registration with CAC. Because in my line of work as a business consultant, I've had to engage with clients, and while engaging with them, they will tell you that their business is registered as a company, that they have a company registered with CAC. And by the time you tell them to present your CAC so that we can use it for whatever application we are doing or whatever we are doing, by the time they get to present it, I'll end up saying that this is actually a business name registration and not a company registration. So we're going to be looking at the key differences between these two and their features. For business name registration, in terms of ownership and structure, business name registration is basically, it's personal, like it is tied to the owner, and you can't separate the owner from the business. They are one. Say for example, now I have a business I registered as a business name. Say for example, Mycen Enterprise, and I registered it as a business name. Mycen Enterprise, I am Mycen Enterprise. It is the same as me. You can't separate both of us. But if it is a company that I register, say for example, Mycen Enterprise Limited, it is a company has what we call a legal entity. It is different from the owner. Okay, so the company can sue and be sued in its name. That is to say that if I do a transaction with someone, and say for example the transaction goes wrong and I want to sue the person, I can actually sue the person in my company name. And if the person is suing me, the person can actually sue me in my company name and not suing me as Chisom or Mr. Chisom Analefo. The person is suing my company, Mycen Limited. And also, even in the name, business name registration does not end with limited. That's LTD, either limited or LTD. It's just like, for example, Mycen Enterprise, Mycen Solutions, Mycen Services, stuff like that. But for company registration, if you are doing the registration on the CAC, it must end with LTD or limited. It must end with something like Mycen Enterprise Limited, Django Limited, and all of that. It must end with limited. That is for company registration, private limited liability registration. It must end with LTD. Why for public limited liability company? It must end with PLC. the name must end with what? PLC. That is a way to even identify the difference between them in the certificate. So whenever you see a business name, a CAC certificate that does not end with LTD, it means that it is a business name registration, and it also has BN number. Why company registration has what we call RC number. That is it. So those are the differences. Then again, for business name registration are not allowed to have shareholders. They are not allowed to have shareholders. But for company registration, when you register as a company, you are entitled to having investors, having shareholders in your business. So having understood this, let's now look at the advantages of limited liability companies over business name registration. Number one, like we have said earlier, is the fact that it is a legal entity. That is, it protects the personal assets of the owner from its business. And also, the liability of the members or the owners are limited to the amount of capital that they contributed in the business. So also, in terms of raising of capital and attracting investors, limited liability can attract investors or partners or shareholders easily, and they can win contracts easily than business name registration. Remember, limited liability is entitled to having shareholders, whereas business name is not entitled to having shareholders. So when you get shareholders in your business, it means they are investing funds in your business to own a piece of your business. And also, in terms of professionalism and credibility, of course, limited liability poses a chance of more credibility than business name registration because of the structure and the system that is believed to be in place in a limited liability company. Okay, so having said this, I know some persons might be saying, with all these explanations, it simply means that there is no need registering business name registration, it is of no use and all of that. That might be true, but there are also some cases where business name registration can be more suitable for you, especially when you are just trying to more like test the waters. You are not really too sure about the business. You just want to just get it registered and launch it and test it for a while before you can now get to register it as a company or whatever. If that is the case, then you can start with business name registration. And also, if all the client you are dealing with does not really care about the structure of your business, then you can go ahead and do a business name registration. And also, in cases where you are just a solo entrepreneur, you just want to own your business by yourself, you don't want any external control or any external whatsoever, that means business name registration is for you. Okay, so in conclusion, I would say, if you are interested in building a scalable and a sustainable business, then you should consider registering as a limited liability company. But if you are just starting small and just need to test run the business and you want to just own the business by yourself, then consider registering as a business name. So if you are also interested in getting help with registering your business, you can reach out to me via the comment section or any of my social media handle at my full name, Anolefo Emmanuel Chisom, or my phone number 081-396-79132, or you can also drop a comment on the comment section. Okay, so in our next episode, we're going to be looking at a very, very interesting topic, and that is we're going to be looking at funding for small businesses, how you can position yourself to attract investors, to attract funds to be able to launch or grow your business. Don't miss out, and don't forget to like this video if you have enjoyed it so far, or if you have learned one or two and you have a question to ask. The comment section is always open. Drop your question, and don't forget to share this video and click on the subscribe button. See you next time. Bye.